Welcome back. So let's understand about the key concepts in generative AI. First and foremost thing to understand is about tokenization. What exactly is token in any large language model? So as we know that generative AI uses large language models and there are many large language models. The important concept is that within large language model, every text or every information that you prompt is broken down. So whatever, say for example, I'm writing, create the test cases for login functionality. So this whole sentence that I'm typing in the prompt window, say for example in ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot or Google Gemini, will get broken into smaller units, and these smaller units are known as tokens. For example, if say for example I type in the text generative AI in testing, it could be broken something like gen or GenAI. Okay, it's not necessary that it will be broken as a full a word as a token. A single word could be a token, or it could be broken down further into 2 tokens or 3 tokens. That's an internal logic that every model implements, how it calculates the token. But a thumb rule is that generally 4 characters are considered as 1 token. So 4 characters of English text are considered as 1 token in any large language model. That's the general rule of thumb, but that's not necessary. So for example, if we go ahead and say generative AI in testing, it could be 5 tokens or 6 tokens or maybe 4 tokens. Okay, so that's basically how the tokens are calculated, and based on these tokens the large language models cost you money, and we'll see that with an example. Next important thing is the context window. So the context window or the context length of large language model is the amount of text in the tokens the model can consider or remember at any point of time. So it's kind of a memory, how much a large language model can remember the previous conversation that you are doing. So for example, I started with a conversation, create test cases for the login functionality, and then provided the requirements documentation or the user stories in detail, and that conversation is going on. So it went ahead, started creating the test cases. I am refining those test cases. I'm asking to refine the test cases. I'm asking to add more functionality or more non-functional test cases. So how much of the previous conversation the large language model is going to remember, that is known as the context window. And when we talk about tokens, so tokens is the token that you input the prompt, as well as whatever large language model is generating, that is also considered as tokens. So the input and output both are considered in token count for large language model. If we talk about the context window, a model may say for example only remember last 2-3 paragraphs of the conversation. That's just a hypothetical example, but then usually you will see that every model has a limited number of tokens that it can basically remember. Post that, it will start forgetting the initial conversation. It won't have any context. Okay, now why the context window is important? Because if I remember what you asked initially and you are asking something after the context window has exceeded, I'll start forgetting the initial context. So in those cases the hallucinations will occur because I don't have any context or any remembrance, or I don't remember anything what you asked initially. So based on my general ability or based on the general ability of the large language model, it will start replying or it will start generating the content, and that's where the context window becomes really important. Then we have the multimodal models. So multimodal models are the models which can handle multiple data types. For example, they can generate the text, they can generate images, audio, video. If we talk about the copilot.microsoft.com, Microsoft Copilot or Google Gemini, all of these are using multimodal models. How? Because I can generate the text, I can generate the images as well. Okay, so if a large language model can handle different data types, it is multimodal. For example, if I go ahead and upload a bug screenshot and description of a bug, the AI can suggest possible fixes. So a multimodal large language model will be able to analyze images, create audio, create video, all of that. Okay, so these are the key concepts. We'll go and understand the examples of these in just a moment. Now, how is generative AI helping in software testing? So few practical applications of generative AI. Generative AI can help you in generating the test artifacts. For example, creating the test plan based on the user stories. It can help you refine the user stories, figure out any gaps, do analysis of the user stories and suggest the test scenarios and test cases, create the test plan, create the test scripts, create automated test scripts for any programming language that you specify. For example, I want to create the automated test scripts for the Playwright in JavaScript or TypeScript. It can help you do that. Then identifying any potential defects. So it can do analysis of the logs or analysis of the code and identify any bad coding practices or defects that could occur. It can summarize large requirement document. It can analyze the defect patterns. It can go ahead and create synthetic test data, support the document generation. So these are some of the practical applications of generative AI in software testing. In my course, I'll be going ahead and explaining some of these applications, but in the ISTQB full premium course, I have explained all the hands-on exercises or how generative AI is practically used or can be practically used in software testing in much more detail. As part of this course as well, I'll cover many hands-on topics as well. Okay, so for example, if I talk about the example of generative AI in software testing, if I say input, generate test data for an e-commerce checkout flow, the large language model or generative AI can generate realistic user profile addresses, payment details, etc. Okay, now let's go ahead and understand all of these concepts. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand all of these concepts practically, the tokenization context window, multimodal models, and some of the examples for test data generation. So if I talk about the tokenization, for example, this was a text, generative AI in testing. Let's go ahead and practically see if, say, for example, I go to the tokenizer platform. So usually, if you simply go to platform.openai.com, tokenizer, this tool is there wherein OpenAI has released the tool to actually calculate or see how many tokens a particular text is going to take. Okay, so if you'll see generative AI in testing, that's the text. If I'm using GPT 5x, any model, or if I'm using GPT 4, you will see more or less the token calculation is almost similar. The number of tokens is 5 and the characters are 24 characters in this overall statement. Okay, if I go ahead with the legacy, same thing. So you see that this particular statement is first is GNER, that's one token, then ATIVE, another token, then space and AI is another token, then space and IN is another token. So there is no fixed rule as such. And then the whole testing word is another token. All right, so there is no fixed rule that the token will consist only of 2 alphabets or 3 characters or space. A special character could be in itself a single token, considered as a single token. And based on different models, so these are the large language models, right? So these are the models, GPT-5, GPT-4, GPT-3. These are the models released by OpenAI. With Google has released the models, for example, Google Gemini. Okay, different versions of it. Then there are other companies in the market that they have released another large language model. So the calculation here is based on what OpenAI large language model GPT versions calculate. Okay, then if we talk about the context window, if I again go to the OpenAI platform, see, these are the, for example, GPT 5.5 is the model which has the context window of 1.05 million context length. So if you see any model wherein it shows the context length, that is the context window. That is the amount of tokens or the previous conversation these models can remember. For example, this mini can only remember 400k or 400,000 tokens of previous conversation. So if the context length is more for the model, obviously it will be able to remember much more context, and it will be really helpful for the complex tasks which requires a lot of scanning of multiple documentation or your code base and creating the updated outcome or creating the suggestions based on the existing code, which is thousands and thousands of lines of code. Okay, so that's another concept of context window. Then if we talk about multimodal models, so multimodal models, for example, here Google Gemini, you can basically, I can ask to create or generate an image to this model. I can upload the file or attach the image, and I can ask to summarize the details in the image, or based on the image generate the test cases. For example, if I go ahead and say upload files, and I simply go ahead, and this is the screenshot of the test application that I use for teaching Playwright test automation and all other automation and AI or agentic AI courses. So if I attach this screenshot, okay, and I say refer to attached screenshot and create test cases for this functionality. I haven't specified what this screenshot is all about. I'm just saying to Google Gemini, and you'll see that it is basically 3.5 Flash. This is the model that by default is selected. I can select other models as well, but many of these free tools that you see, the AI assistants, for example, Google Gemini or Copilot, they don't allow you much control over the choosing the complex model. So they'll go ahead and with the simple models. So if I go ahead and simply send this, you will see, because this model is multimodal, so it will understand the image. You will see, based on the provided screenshot of the RCV Academy eStore, how it figured out. It figured out that because the image contained RCV Academy eStore in there. Here is a comprehensive set of test cases covering functional UI validation and security scenarios. So accordingly, whatever it was able to figure out in the image, if I go ahead and say, for example, open the image, this is the image that I uploaded. It had figured out that this is the eStore, this is the login page, the sign in page. Because there is a sign in button, there is a create account, there is email, password. So it needs to go ahead and analyze the whole page. And because the model is multimodal, it is able to analyze and then provided me the functional, the non-functional, the UI validation as per the details that are available in this screenshot. For example, you'll see login failure with unregistered remember me checkbox functionality. There is a remember me checkbox as well in there. It has figured out that there will be a test case for the forgot password. So because this model was multimodal, that means it can analyze the images and it can basically also create or generate images, generate other types of data, not necessarily the Flash one, but then the whole idea of multimodal model is that it can generate different type of context, different type of output and content. If the model is not multimodal, say for example only text based, then you can only have the text outcome for that specific model. So we have understood about the tokenization context window multimodal models, and we have also understood about the example of generating the test data based on the screenshot that we attached. That's the practical usage of generative AI in software testing. The other important thing is I'll show you in the VS Code. So in the VS Code, this is the interface wherein this is the GitHub Copilot that is set up in VS Code. Now here, if you see in the right hand side, this is the context window for the model. So you'll see the model that has been selected based on what model you select, and these are the models that are available in the GitHub Copilot. And this is basically because I have the Pro account in GitHub Copilot, so that's why I'm getting a lot of models here. But then if you don't have the Pro account, you will still get some of the free models available here in GitHub Copilot. The idea is same. Here you type in the prompt, but this is more for coding and AI assisted testing, AI assisted automation, for which I am creating a lot of courses. I have already created the Playwright and creating AI courses to help you with the AI journey, or how you can move ahead with the AI implementation in QA space. So you can select different models, and then based on the model, you will see the context window. And what is context window? We have understood that whatever, so for example, I am typing in something here, that token, and then whatever output, how much it can remember. That is basically the context window practically in VS Code for any of the specific model. And the context window changes if you change the model. Each model will have a different context window, alright, depending on what exactly the configuration in that model is. So the complex model will have more context window. For example, the max context here in Claude Sonnet is 160, Gemini Pro is 173, Claude Sonnet 160, Haiku 160 again, GPT Mini 192, right? So it varies based on different models. Alright, so that's all about the key concepts in generative AI with practical examples. Thank you. I'll see you in the next tutorial.